clerk. But I am. We'd like to call the meeting to order. If you'd stand for a moment, for Pledge of Allegiance, a moment of silent prayer.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
To remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. At this time, we have public comments. Go to the microphone, give your name and address. Are there any public comments? Yes.
Roderick Casey, 521 Belmont Township delegate and also a citizen of this township. And my public comment is today is for the records. I come to see see what's going on with the inspection in Huron Heights, Huron Ridge Apartment Complex, and also to bring up a resolution that I submitted last month to the board to find out when this is going to be brought to the board. Okay, and I appreciate if one of y'all can stay in touch with me so I could be updated. Okay, and I'd like to also, just, give my condolence to Doug for the loss of his mother, because we're all family here. And when we lose somebody in our family, we all feel the pain. So my condolences, Doug.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any other public comment?
Good evening, Alicia Dyer, residing at 7259 Warwick in Ypsilanti Township, co-chair of the Y-Town ARPA Committee with Alex Thomas. For an update, our committee has had attendance at county listening sessions in the township, and it was great to see some of you all there. We have gotten a lot of residents of Ypsilanti Township engaged in our committee and have met 4 times now. We worked really hard on a resolution that has been sent to you all. We welcome feedback and ask for the resolution to be put on agenda for a vote at the upcoming December 21st board meeting. This has been an exciting process, and we appreciate all of the one-on-one conversations we've had with the board and hope we can continue to work together to do deep canvassing and community engagement in our township to come up with a comprehensive ARPA plan. With the resolution, we want to formalize our partnership with the board. I will now read a poem created for the board. The Y-Town ARPA Committee is stronger together. Our canvassing can start despite the weather. We are passionate about talking to all our residents. We have lived experience and expertise missed by consultants. We are excited about working with you all as one. Real grassroots outreach, it can be done. We have a chance to not let our community down. Let's show others what makes us Y-Town. Thank you.
Thank you. On the consent agenda, we have
Supervisor Sumbo, I have, a couple of public comments to read that were sent to me by email. The first is from Ms. Tajli Haj. Hello, I am Tajli Haj. I'm a Y-Town resident living in Sugarbrook. I'm writing this public comment to voice support for the Y-Town ARPA Committee resolution that has been submitted to the board and request that it be added at the next meeting's agenda for a vote. The Y-Town ARPA Committee has been working to engage residents from all areas of the township, and I think it's been rather successful. Not only does the committee have great and diverse representation, but the committee is also committed having regular meetings and keeping dialogue flowing. The committee is also passionate about the lives of our residents and neighbors, as I know we all are. However, there's just certain stake that community members and this committee's members having in gathering community feedback that external consultants may not. We need the passion that this committee brings to involve and engage our residents. Please consider this resolution and place it on the agenda for the next board meeting. Please don't hesitate to let the committee know if there are any questions, concerns, feedbacks, or modifications. This all relies on teamwork, and there's no us without you. Thank you for your time, Tajli Haj. The next one here is from Michelle Simmons. Good afternoon, Heather. I'm writing you regarding the Y-Town ARPA Committee that I am a part of. We submitted a resolution for community engagement for the Ypsilanti Township. I am agreeing with the resolution that we're presenting to the boards, and I think it would be a great idea for the community to stay engaged with how the ARPA funds are going to be allocated. I feel that since the money is for the people should have a voice and where the money should go for their individual community. Please take our resolution into consideration because we all care about our community. The next is from Mr. Joshua Hurry. Hello, Clerk Rowe. My name is Joshua Hurry, and I am an Ypsilanti Township resident living in Galt Village for going on 9 years. I'm writing this public comment to voice support for the Y-Town ARPA Committee resolution that has been submitted to the board. I would like to request that the resolution be added to the next meeting's agenda, which is 12/21/2021, for a vote to recognize the Y-Town ARPA Committee officially. As a member of the Y-Town ARPA Committee and as a resident of Ypsilanti Township, I think it's really important that we all work together and uniquely engage the community by allowing our committee to have ownership over the community engagement process, and sometimes consultants cannot do the grassroots community engagement that we can do and provide. We're excited to work together and have diverse representation from multiple neighborhoods in the township. The Y-Town ARPA Committee is an invaluable group of people from all corners of Ypsilanti Township. The grassroots aspect of the committee is what makes it great. Residents of our township now have the ability to share their voices and ideas amongst each other and discuss the pros and cons of the ideas being brought to the table. People want to be heard, and this committee gives us the power without playing political jump rope. Having the committee in place is and will continue to be great for the community. The committee at its core is the people of Ypsilanti Township and will benefit us by giving us a voice that is heard, a sense of duty, and an overall sense of purpose in making positive change. Sincerely, Joshua. All right, the next one is, my name is Tad Weiser. My wife, Wanda, and I live at 610 North Miami Ave. I'm writing this public comment to voice support for our Y-Town ARPA Committee resolution that the group submitted to the board and request it be added to the December 21st meeting's agenda for a vote. I admit that I haven't been as active in my township as I could have, but I'm excited now to become a member of this new committee, which is coming together at the right time at this rare moment when our township is blessed with an unexpected pool of dollars that can be used in many different ways. What a great chance to decide together across our township how best to spend these new public funds without having to rob them from other worthy existing local programs. Whether we are white, black, or brown, whether we're newcomers or have been here for generations, we all care about a thriving Ypsilanti Township. And I think we know that none of us really thrive unless all of us thrive together. I believe Ypsilanti Township Board has a special opportunity by taking action to engage and challenge the Y-Town ARPA committee instead of an outside consultant, to take responsibility and ownership over the community engagement process. The board can meet its goal and make sure that all of us from our backgrounds, neighborhoods, are being reached, heard, and engaged in an open process. And to help make sure, in true Ypsi Township fashion, we spend our unexpected new ARPA money in ways that can raise everyone up of our families and neighborhoods. And while we're at it, we'll be pushing back together on those ugly forces trying to divide us up and really show ourselves and others what it looks like to be one Ypsilanti Township. Thank you for your time. Tad Weiser. Dear Clerk Rowe, my name is Andrea Pierce, and I live in Ypsilanti Township, and I reside at 1188 Juneau Road in Galt Village. I'm writing this public comment to voice support for our Y-Town ARPA Committee resolution that has been submitted to the board and request that it be added to the next meeting's agenda for a vote. I'm a member of the Y-Town ARPA Committee, precinct delegate, and a resident of this township, and I think it is important that our citizens and our leaders work together, that we engage the community by allowing Y-Town ARPA Committee to have ownership over the community engagement process, since oftentimes consultants are unable to address the community or complete the grassroots community engagement that we as citizens will provide. We're excited to work together and have diverse representation from multiple neighborhoods in the township. Citizens want to be included, to be at the table where decisions will be made that will impact us. Please vote in support of Y-Town ARPA Committee resolution that will bring community engagement to the decisions to allocate the ARPA monies. Thank you, Andrea Pierce. And that concludes my public comments. Community and committee, that's a tongue twister.
My name is Arloa Kaiser. I live at 1421 Melvin Street. I guess I must be out of it. What does ARPA stand for?
It's the American Rescue Plan Act, I think. Yeah,
And how long has this been in the,
It came from the federal government to the local governments, and like the county got 77 million, Ypsilanti Township is going to receive 9 million. Ypsilanti Community School received 21 million, so it was part of the virus funding and supposed to be used.
and when did we receive these funds?
We have for 2024, I think, is a deadline.
2024? Thank you.
All right, we have the consent agenda. Fiscal year budget, 2022 fiscal year budget, public hearing. It was published, and at this time, we can have public comments on it. Are there any public comments on the 2022 budget?
It's 7:12.
Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing at what time is it?
7:12.
7:12. And the board discussed it at length, and we're going to bring the adoption to the next, the last board meeting next year, or this year. We have the consent agenda, which is minutes of the November 16th, 2021 work session and regular meeting.
Madam Chair, I would so move and request that we table the minutes until the next board meeting.
Is there support? Support. Motion, Gerald Rose, support Swanson to table. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have statements and checks for December 2nd, 2021 in the amount of $987,961.08.
So move.
Motion Rowe,
Support.
support Eldridge to approve statements and checks for December 2nd, 2021. Questions or comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Attorney's report, Mr. Winter?
Madam Chair, no formal report this evening. I would just like to take a moment and thank all the board members and administrative staff and all the township employees and other people in the audience who have reached out to express their condolences for my mother's passing. She was a big champion and fan of Ypsilanti Township. She loved the township. In fact, I think Heather sent me a copy of her, was it the voter registration, Heather, that you sent a copy of?
Yeah.
1952. When she was very, very young lady, she wanted to participate in the Ypsilanti Township process of elections. So she loved the township, lived her entire life after moving to Kentucky, from Kentucky to Michigan, in search of a better life. And she knew all of you and always supported what was best for the township. And it's a personal loss, and also maybe a loss for other people associated with the township. She was a great fan of the senior community and loved to walk down that way, and was probably very very supportive of what this board stands for. So again, just thank all of you for your kind thoughts and your prayers and your warm wishes, and just want to acknowledge that this evening for all of you that have reached out. So again, thank you very kindly, and just keep all of us in your prayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. And we are sorry for your loss. And she was also a UAW member from Forwards, and member of Calvary Baptist Church for years, and 92 years old, and just a kind of a fixture around here, I think, as far as Ypsilanti Township. So we're sorry for your loss and our loss too. Under new business, we have Resolution 2021-31, which is approval of the 2022 Poverty Exemption Guidelines and Application. Clerk Rowe?
All right, I have resolution number. I have resolution number 2021-31, the poverty exemption guidelines and application. Whereas the homestead of persons who, in the judgment of the Board of Review, by reasons of poverty are unable to contribute to the public charges, is eligible for exemption in whole or part from taxation under Section U of the Michigan Poverty Tax Act, Public Act 206 of 1893. And whereas pursuant to Section 211.7U, Ypsilanti Charter Township, Washtenaw County, adopts the following guidelines and application for the Board of Review to implement. The guidelines shall include, but not be limited to, the specific income and asset levels of the claimant and all persons residing in the household. To be eligible, a person shall do all of the following on an annual basis. 1. Be a homeowner and occupy as a homestead, primary residence, the property for which an exemption is requested as of tax date December 31st, the preceding year. 2, file a completed application for poverty exemption form 5737 with the Board of Review, accompanied by federal and state income tax returns for all persons residing in the homestead, including property tax credit returns, filed in the current or immediate preceding year, or a poverty exemption affidavit form 4988 for a claimant and all persons residing in a household. 3, meet the income threshold guidelines, maximum income, adopted by the Township Board. The income threshold is that all household income cannot exceed 30% of the median income for Ann Arbor, Washtenaw County, as published by the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, as of December 31st of the preceding year. These income thresholds will be used as long as they are higher than the federal poverty guidelines as determined annually by the United States Office of Management and Budget. 4, complete and submit a poverty exemption asset test form and meet the maximum requirement eligibility test as follows. Assets other than the taxpayer's primary residence, standard mode of transportation, and usual household goods valued at more than $25,000 will be considered and added to the household income to determine eligibility. 5, due to the PA 253 of 2020 changes to MCL 211.7U, the guidelines will provide for a partial exemption equal to 25% or 50% reduction in taxable value. Now therefore it be resolved that the Board of Review shall follow the above stated policy, guidelines, and application in granting or denying exemptions. I would so move Resolution 2021-31.
Support.
Motion Rose, supported by Eldridge. Questions or comment?
Madam Chair, I would just like to add that I know our assessing department and Board of Review does a great job with assisting residents who do need to complete this poverty exemption guideline application, and they just, say the earlier to help get it in, the more time that they have to work with the residents. So thank you to our assessing department for doing that great work.
We have a motion support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next item is a request to appoint an interim recreation service manager with a wage adjustment, which is John Hine.
Move to approve.
Support.
Motion Wilson, support Gerald Rowe. Questions or comments? At the work session, we discussed that Angela Burgess is retiring, so John Hines is going to return back to the Recreation Department and help with the interim since she's retiring. And he's currently the acting deputy supervisor, so. We appreciate any questions or comments on it? Someone's got to lead them. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 3 is a request authorization to approve the change order number 2 for the Loon Feather Point Park renovation in the amount of $10,335.60, which is budgeted.
So moved.
Support.
There's a motion and support to approve it. Questions or comments? When will this be completed, Michael, if you don't?
Mike Hoffmeister, Residential Services Director. I am having a walkthrough Thursday to go through punch list items, so in the next couple weeks,
Okay.
hopefully.
Yeah, and do you want to tell We should celebrate some of the things. We just do business and move on, but
Yeah.
let's celebrate some of them. This is a major renovation to this part.
Yeah, this is one that Clerk Karen Lovejoy Rowe applied for back in, I believe, 2019. We received the award, and it's an MDNR Trust Fund grant, and we're renovating the park. We are sprucing up the shelters. We've created a new ADA accessible trail down to the fishing pier. We're adding some additional trail. We added a rain garden, renovating the gatehouse and the restroom building, re-roofing, repainting, freshening, sprucing. So very exciting.
Yeah, I think this is, the original grant was what, Doug? In 86, 87 probably?
Yes, it's been about
it's a-
85, 86.
Thank you for leading this effort, Michael, and getting this done. I think the residents are going to be happy with the facelift of it. We have a motion support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 4 is a request to approve the updated financial policy contingent upon attorney review.
So move, Joe Rowe.
Support.
Motion, Joe Rose, support Wilson. Questions or comments? We discussed it at the last work session and reviewed it again at this work session. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 5 is Budget Amendment 15. Clerk Rowe.
I have Budget Amendment 15. Part of this is to reappropriate some FICA's legal services as well as a PTO payout for our hydro station. So I have a Budget Amendment number 15. I would move to increase the general fund budget by $243,358 to $10,206,559 and approve the department line item changes as outlined, and move to increase the hydro station fund budget by $1,374 to $538,901 and approve the department line item changes as outlined. I would so move.
Motion, Joe Rowe.
Support Swanson.
Support Swenson. All in favor? Any question? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Under authorization bids, we have the request to approve the contract with JFR Architects for the architectural and engineering professional services for Phase 1 of the 14B Court and Civic Center Site Security Project in the amount of $21,500, which is budgeted.
So move.
Contingent upon attorney approval.
So move.
Motion, Gerald Rose, support Eldridge or Wilson.
Yes, Mike Hoffmeister, Residential Services Director. Back in July, you guys allowed staff permission to seek sealed bids for A&E services related to security upgrades at 14B and the Civic Center. Between then and now, we did a mandatory walkthrough where we received 19 participants, which was a huge number. And I will add that through the entire process, Clerk Gerald Rowe, Treasurer Eldridge, and Attorney Winters, as well as additional staff, Travis McDougald, and others were included in this entire process. We did receive 7 sealed bids that were opened. We did go through an extensive interview process where we interviewed three firms. We narrowed it down to one firm, interviewed JFR a second time to confirm our feelings, and here we are today with a proposed contract in front of you for Phase 1. This phase just includes a kind of a facility review, an internal study of what we believe is best versus what they believe is best, staff interviews, surveys, et cetera. We'll also receive digital and 3D imaging, and we feel JFR is most qualified through their facility and courtroom security experience in municipal buildings. So we're very excited to get this project going.
Questions or comment?
I would just add that, once again, in this past week or so, you've seen a tragedy occur in Oxford High School with the shootings of the young students. And again, the concern has always been, again, making sure that the 14B Court and the township would really revisit this issue about courtroom security as well as township security. And by the township looking at this from a a standpoint of a single point entry, the township would be in a position to have one entryway where we could actually check for weapons that do not belong into a courtroom or into the Township Civic Center. And again, every day we have a constant reminder throughout many parts of the country as to the level of violence that we are seeing in places that churches, schools, and other civic areas. And so this is the beginning. This is step one, of just trying to get our arms around what our needs might look like down the road, and also to see exactly how many phases that would be involved. But I think the intent would be, hopefully at some point in time, with this study being completed, for it to really be thoroughly vetted by the township board, so we can start looking at exactly what our needs are going to be, and if we're really going to have security here for both the courtroom and the Township Civic Center, then the single point entry is going to give us that type of control that currently we do not have. And so the world, I'm not sure the world has changed as much as people has changed. The violence continues to occur at just levels that we see in our community, in our apartment complexes, in our neighborhoods. And at this point in time, the sad reality is that we have to do something. I think that we've made commitments in the past to revisit this issue with the 14B court, and we need to get our financial house in order before we can move forward to see what the cost is going to be. But obviously, it's a high priority, I believe, for 2022 to at least get this Civic Center 14B court security project, in a real timeline, so the board can be involved in this, because it's been, right now, our court is not, it does not meet the standards that you would want that the Supreme Court is mandating that we live up to, as well as the Township Civic Center also has been one that poses the same level of security concern. So I know that Stan and Heather and myself, Mike and others, have spent a great deal of time interviewing these firms, and they all have outstanding qualifications. So I think this choice here is going to be one to at least give you a blueprint of what you can anticipate in the months and weeks ahead. So to have a secure environment for those who have reason to be in the township and work in the township, and those who have a reason to be in the courtroom. So again, this is a milestone in many ways. It's been something we've talked about for many, many years. So I think this is it's appropriate as you end this year to get this underway, so we can start the 2022 year with a clean slate in regards to moving forward with the courtroom security review.
All right. We have a motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We had a closed session on the tentative agreement for the Teamsters contract in Ypsilanti Township, and we agreed to add it to the agenda for consideration of the board. Who's going to do the presentation?
Karen, are you going to, you want me to? I'm sorry?
I can go through it if you need to.
Good evening again. During the closed session, Attorney Winters and I presented the results of our Teamsters negotiation and the T8 articles. And the Teamsters Union has voted on that. And so we're bringing it forth to the board for consideration tonight. Was there any particular questions after the closed session that you might have?
The salary, the proposed salary increases. You want to review?
We're 2.75 for 2022, which is what the firefighters have in their contract, 3% for 23, which again is what the firefighters have. This is a 3-year contract through 24, and it would also be a 3% increase for 24.
And I know there was clarification in the Teamsters contract just to clean up some of the language.
There was, just to clarify, there's several places in the contract where days were mentioned. It would say 30 days, 15 days, 10 days. We clarified whether those were calendar days or work days, things like that. We cleaned up the recognition article. There were several positions that we no longer have here at the township that formerly were part of the Teamsters contract that we took out. So we cleaned that article up. Added a little bit of new language here and there with longevity. Teamsters wanted to make sure that they were able to meet with new employees to welcome them, to let them know about the Teamsters contract, so we have that language in there. An increase in PTO time, and that was to bring it more in line with our other bargaining units. And some new language or within our job postings, things like that, that allowed us actually to post both internal and external at the same time, which helps speed us up with being able to get out to the public quicker for candidates to apply. So, anything else?
Just clarified the holidays and how we operate if it was on a Friday.
Correct, and I think part of that is like this year, as an employee of the township, we get Christmas Eve and Christmas Day off. Well, that's Friday and Saturday this year. Typically, if we have a Saturday holiday, we get the Friday off, but we've already got the Friday off. So how we would work that, and if it was, again, not on like a Monday, Tuesday type thing, how we would actually work that out.
So just clarified it.
Clarification, so that anyone can open up and look at it and know what we're doing versus waiting for someone to make that decision every year.
Madam Chair, I would also just add that I think that this contract also would allow the Teamster employees, the ones that were hired after 2009, to bank up to 80 hours of PTO, which, as the board knows, includes vacation and sick time. The one area that probably should have been also clarified is that in 2020, we allowed the unused COVID hours that employees received to be brought over to be used in 2021. Those hours are not being carried over into 2022. They are the hours that were 80 hours that were set for every employee to use in the event they became sick or quarantined or exposed. And the reason why I bring that up right now is we have a number of the Teamster employees who did not use their COVID hours because, fortunately, they were not in a position, they were not exposed to the COVID. And so the 80 hours additional into their PTO bank, as we all know right now, we're seeing the ugly head of the COVID continuing to appear throughout Michigan for reasons I don't quite understand. So again, those 80 hours that they would be allowed to bank would be their hours that they would be able to utilize, as opposed to hours that were not used, that are no longer being carried over into 2022. So I just wanted to point out right now that these hours that we're talking about for the PTO bank would be hours that they themselves would be allowed to bank and utilize for sickness, vacation, etc. I'm sorry? Disability. Yeah, and if they were in a position where they wanted to have to take care of a loved one, et cetera. So there's any number of scenarios where they could use those 80 hours. And there's also there's also a 1-week waiting period, I believe, for short-term disability, that if they wanted to receive their full weeks of pay, a full week of pay, they would use the entire 40 hours in order to get that week of pay. Right now, some of the other people that were hired before 2009 are allowed to bank many more hours, I think up to 360, Karen. And so the 80 hours, we think, is a very fair resolution. And again, the 2.75 to 3 to 3, in this context of what we're seeing in the inflation area, it seems to also be extremely, fair to both sides. So I know that the union bargained in good faith, and I know that we try to also fulfill those obligations on our part. And no contract is ever going to be a perfect scenario, but I think given the current environment, that this is a 3-year contract. We're trying to retain employees and trying to encourage them to stay here. The longevity may be one way of at least showing them that if they are here for a certain number of years, that we recognize their work and their efforts and their commitment to the township by having a longevity flat fee based upon years of service. And I know we've lost some people in the past or two because of not being maybe as competitive in some areas. But in any event, right now, I think that it's in a position where the 3 years is a very significant. It's not so long that it's unfair to people that are hired in. It's not so short in duration that we have to turn around and start negotiating again next year. So I think it sets the tone and the atmosphere for what will follow, and I think it's good, and I appreciate the board's allowing us to monopolize your work session this evening to try and explain this, and hopefully we answered the questions that were asked.
Questions or comments? I do have just one, and I didn't ask it in the work session, but on the hiring committee, it says it shall be these people. So I don't, it looks like we were excluded, like it looks like administrators were excluded from interviewing, and that would be odd.
That was not the intent.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to clarify that that's not. It's a.
Especially if it's because it will be an HR representative, the department or division head, and then a management/administrative representative.
So administrative
would be
elected? Or
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It used to say administration official, and then you took that out.
Yes,
And you
no.
changed it to administrative. Okay, I just wanted to clarify.
Yes.
Good. If it's in our department, then
Correct.
we're involved in it. And I do know that the compensation package has been reviewed and by the accounting department, and it's
Yes.
the budget, it's in the budget, so we'll be able to
Yes.
pay for this to make sure. I do think it's a good contract, but I also know that people have been working very, very hard. It's been stressful. And we appreciate what everyone's doing and the negotiations and all the work that people are doing during these hard times, especially the Teamsters non-union, This is the smallest group of people, and we hired 7 people.
There's a total of 13 within the Teamsters Union or positions. 11 of those 13 have been hired since 2009, and 7 of those 11 actually have been hired here in 2021 in the midst of everything else going on. So a lot been happening.
So, any other questions or comments? Oh, okay. Any other?
I'd make a motion to approve the tentative agreement before us.
We have a motion to approve the agreement. Is there support?
Support, Swanson.
Motion by Gerald Rose, support by Swanson to approve the Teamsters contract. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Or other board member updates?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify a particular email you all may have received, a potential resolution that a group of residents that got together, they invited us to a meeting, a Zoom meeting, to talk about community engagement for our American Rescue Plan funds. And in layman's terms, our residents just concerned that they don't want us to spend money on a consultant to do community engagement for this process. They would, especially when we have residents who are willing to do that community engagement in conjunction with our township staff. That's the main purpose behind the public comments you heard, as well as the resolution, is that we're not going to spend dollars for community engagement. They did understand, and I explained to them that something like the master plan, that was such a large process that we had to pay some consultants for that. But for this piece here, this is something that we should be able to handle. And like you always say, Madam Supervisor, our staff is pretty busy. And so if we have a group of residents that are willing to kind of help us, I think that's a good thing. But I did make sure it got sent to our legal staff, and I'll follow up with them to make sure that this resolution isn't, because we got to make sure we're not on the hook for something and make sure everything's legally in place, that we're not going to be on the hook for financial or something. However, looking at it with my amateur eyes, I don't think that that's the case. But this week I'll get with our legal department to make sure that this resolution is okay to potentially bring to the board. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay, thank you. That does help.
Could I clarify a point as well?
Yes.
So unless I've missed something, I don't recall us saying as a board that we were going to seek a consultant to help us. I've heard the board say that we know the importance of having community input. I don't recall us saying that we were going to seek a consultant. I know that when we brought forth having or seeking help with the financial aspect to make sure that we were going to spend the money accurately, that one of the things that we said at that meeting that we valued was the idea that even the person who was responsible for helping us spend the money responsibly had experience, or we were hoping that they had experience in working with the community and getting engagement in that way, but in no way was that a statement that we wanted that individual to be the person who was going to be responsible for seeking community engagement. I was thinking that we as board members bear a huge responsibility for making sure that all of the people in our community had the opportunity to have input in that process and for the dollars. I think the board has been very clear that the opportunity index and things, I mean, there have been so many people who've come forward to us where we're saying how important that is, and we're meeting with other levels of government continually saying you need to focus on these areas. As recently as the last county board meeting, 2 of us were there saying in a variety of ways the importance of that, advocating for feedback, advocating for not looking at us as just one wide swath. When you say 48197, 48198, you have to really dig into that. Clerk Rowe said that. So I just want to be real clear that when we pressed for seeking help and making sure the money's spent according to the way that it's supposed to be spent, we did have a conversation about the importance of making sure that if possible, the person that we sought to help us with that had experience with engaging with the community. In no way did that
abdicate the responsibility of getting community involvement to that particular individual. So if that is what the community's thinking, that we're going to go out and hire a consultant to do that, I don't think that has taken place with this board. So I'm not sure how that message got out there. That's not what I've understood that we wanted to do as a board. We take the responsibility of those dollars very serious, with the understanding that that opportunity doesn't come, and we are a community that needs opportunity. And so I'm just confused about how that message got out, that this board didn't care about that. And then I'm equally puzzled about why the same pressure isn't being placed on the other entities with the amount of money that's being received, like the same amount of how is this going to be done? How is the community going to be involved when we're talking about the schools and how we're talking about the county and any other level? So I just want people to know I've not heard anyone on this board not be genuinely concerned about how money's spent, genuinely concerned about having input and taking the responsibility of what that money is supposed to do in our community very, very, very seriously. So if the message got out that we were going to hand that over to consultants, I don't know how that happened, but I'm not aware of that other than that one conversation about someone helping us with the spending of the money.
All right.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
I just had a couple of other updates, but I would just echo and thank you, Trustee Swanson, for your comments. I just wanted to touch base. We continue to work on a rebranding process with myself, Director Hoffmeister, Deputy Supervisor, Interim Director John Hines, and several other people from the township continue to work on that, and we'll bring those updates back to the board. I know they just finished up interviews where they interviewed residents, business owners, church leaders, staff that we have here. So again, just really focusing on that engagement, not just of us, but of our community, as we always try to. We did have a meeting, myself and Supervisor Stumbo attended, as well as some people from our planning department about our Forbes dry cleaner site and some ideas. And as we continue to have that evolve, we'll bring, those things back to the board as well, because we're maybe at that step. I did want to mention the water and sewer. The last time we had a board meeting, we voted on our bonding of those, and we're in that 45-day referendum period now. Treasurer Eldridge, Supervisor Stumbo, and myself, we met with Kirk Profit, and more so Supervisor Stumbo has been, staying in connection with Senator Irwin and Ronnie Peterson to try and find some other funds so that we're not, placing that undue burden on our residents. So as we continue to see those evolve, like tonight, we actually just got an email from Luke Blackburn, who is our new Yucca director, about, I had it written down here, I think it was Senate Bill 526 or something or another. And so he's, eyeing that as we have Yucca projects that would likely fit for that. And then lastly, sorry to take up so much time, but I can't forget that we're going to miss everyone who's retired at the township, as well as Angie Burgess, who's going this time, but especially for me is Miss Ruby Walker. She's served our township for 21 years and has just been like my mom in the office. So I'm going to miss her, and for so many reasons. She's diligently served our residents for 21 years and has the best customer service and hard work ethic that I've ever seen. And she brings me a vitamin C every single morning. So I'm really going to miss her so much. So thank you to Miss Ruby Walker.
Any other updates?
Yes, I am part of the public advisory group for the AATA, and they were engaging in the community. They've been going through their consulting, their decisions to go forward with 2045, 25 years from now. But in their various scenarios, and they were here last meeting, in their various scenarios, Trustee Swanson had brought up the fact that in all of those scenarios, the one with the scenario 4, which would cost the most had a little bit of activity in Ypsilanti Township, but in echoing the fact that they still didn't deal with the opportunity index routes. So they did say that they would go back to the drawing board, so to speak, and come up with some new scenarios, and they've extended the deadline.
Yeah, good. Any other, Mr.?
I was just going to wish the clerk a happy birthday today.
And I'm glad to see we've had so many suggestions on ARPA. I mean, not only your group, Jimmy, and Alicia's group, but I mean, people have been reaching out. Evan Pratt has stormwater suggestions, so we had 44 homes that flooded in Ypsi Township. We have water and sewer projects that are in need. We have bike path gaps, that needed sidewalk gaps that need to be filled in. We've been recreation improvements as well. And the rec center, come on. We need a rec center on the east side in Ypsi City, Ypsi Township, in the Opportunity Index Zone. So, hopefully we all can push. I think everyone's heart is in the same place. They want to do what's right, for the community. But $9 million is a lot of money. It sounds like a lot, but when one road is $1 million. Now, Ricky Jefferson, and we've met with a group, the lab, and they're a STEM group. They're providing educational opportunities as well as places for the youth to come and learn and hang out and do STEM and robotics, learn financial. I mean, there is so many good things going on in the community. So my position with the county especially has always been, we need structural change. Like you gave $15 million worth of structural change to take the fiber network, cable out so everyone has internet opportunities out west. We need that structural change in our area. I think that changes lives. There's a lot of programming that's going on, but my concern is if you give to a program, they want you to continue to do that. That's not sustainable. But infrastructure, recreation centers, that is, to me, sustainable, and it's going to be an investment that will forever change the opportunity for our health and education and economics in our area. We get one time to do it. We shouldn't rush it. We should listen to all ideas and our good ideas and get information from people. They got $20 billion with a B at the state level. So there's all these funds, and we need to know what they're going to be used for so, we can try to make our dollars go even further by doing that. So I know everyone's always in a hurry sometimes, but I think sometimes we need to step back and just see where all the money is. What's the money going to be used for? Take the ideas. We take ideas all the time, and I'm welcome to them, and I'm glad to see residents that are involved. And I agree, maybe there was some miscommunication on citizen engagement. I mean, I know this board, we will be engaged as well. So it wasn't the intent, Jimmy, and I thank you for clarifying that. If that's the impetus behind all this, that miscommunication, I apologize if we did that, but I love the fact that we have residents that have ideas. So, I mean, that's how you come to the best decisions. So I look forward to the process. We just don't know exactly how it's going to work, because we want to know what the other funds are going to be used for. $20 billion. I mean, I can't even hardly say that. And we've met with Kirk Profit, and we've met with our state legislator. We've met with our senator on phone with Jeff Irwin, trying to figure out where should we put some of these ideas in place. So I think working together is a great idea. I'm not so sure about the resolution if the ultimate decision, we're we're responsible for the $9 million. So we have to make sure that we're accountable for it as well. But as far as community engagement, I love that. I think that's a great idea. So we're just doing a million other things right now too. So we're going to get to it. We promise you that. And I think that covers basically all the meetings, trying to bring everyone up to date on what's going on. And Carly Willis is also retiring at the end of the year. I mean, we've lost some just wonderful people, and Carly's the gold standard for customer service and resident service. And but Shauna's going to be there, and we're going to hire people in the treasurer's office because someone moved to residential services. Ruby, I mean, she's a jewel. Ruby's a great name for her. She's a beautiful soul and hard worker and great work ethics. And we have some good employees. They're just a little new, and we're going to work through it and keep the government going for the people of Ypsilanti Township. So thank you for your patience on this. So share it with the committee, Jimmy, that's why it's taken Let's find out what the other dollars are going to be used for, too. Wireless internet, that's what I want to talk about. Ricky Jefferson brought that up, about having neighborhood free public Wi-Fi in the Opportunity Index. So that is structural change that will lift everyone up. And there's a group of people that we've talked to about doing that. I don't know how to do that. Steve Pierce is one person that might assist. But that is a good change for our residents. That's a infrastructural change that will be there forever, and that's what we need. So I'm very excited about that opportunity. So if you guys have a chance to support that anywhere that you can, we'll actually have it set up in each neighborhood. So, free Wi-Fi is often in downtowns or, of course, cafes and stuff like that, but there's a way to set it up in a neighborhood. And I'm glad, it's good that we have cable, but no one can afford it. It's too, to have high-speed internet. You can do it with Wi-Fi through another way. So, but he said $1 million. Is that what he said on the meeting? I think he gave us a number for one, and that's for one neighborhood. But that one neighborhood will be forever changed. And those are the kind of things that is important to me with the ARPA funds. So let's work together and make this happen in a positive way. And thank you for all your efforts that you guys are doing.
Madam Chair, I just want to add on what you just said. I was on a call yesterday with Congresswoman Debbie Dingell. She said that infrastructure bill, she is accepting any projects right now. Her office needs to be submitted all the projects that we want done. So the 3 full-timers, I know you have plenty of projects you could probably submit to her office and coordinate with her and our state rep to make sure that we get those funds to our township.
Yeah, so there's lots of money, and thank you for pointing that out. I missed it. All right, a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Support.
Motion support, all in favor?
Aye.
The time is 7:59. Thanks, everyone.